Hi, this is Amber. I'm here at Days of the Dead convention with the ZFO Entertainment, and we're just starting our day out. Let's go have a deadly fun time and have a look around.
Yes. I did make it, but it didn't have like the water on it, so I didn't mind it.
Rad.
And that's something.
That's the mask in itself. All right. This is Amber, and I'm here at Days of the Dead convention with ZFO Entertainment, and I'm sitting right now with Mr. Joseph Turkel, and we are going to ask him a few questions about two films that he's worked on in his life. Now, Joe,
Yes.
we're going to start with The Shining because we are at a horror convention and everything. So, what was your favorite part of filming with that movie?
The favorite part of filming The Shining was working again with Stanley Kubrick. And Stanley Kubrick was the grand master of filmmaking. And he was acknowledged as the greatest director of them all. Steven Spielberg called him that, the grand master, because his films covered, the First World War, the Middle Ages. He covered the entire thing. Most directors fall into a niche. Hitchcock did suspense, but Stanley did and tried everything magnificently. So working with Stanley, I'm the only guy that did 3 for him. There was one other fellow, he passed on and moved forward. But he's gone, and I'm the only man alive, the only person alive to do 3 pictures for Stanley Kubrick. And he's my hero.
That's really good to hear.
Yes.
And stuff. What was your favorite scene from that movie?
The bar scene, where Jack and Jack worked his behind off. That, he carried most of the scene. He's asking the questions, talking about the child. And I was feeding him the dialogue. We went back and forth. We rehearsed that thing for 6 weeks before we even rolled.
Wow.
6 weeks of rehearsal. Try it again. And Stanley was looking for the shot. The perfect shot. There's no such thing.
No.
The perfect angle. There's no such thing as the perfect angle. But that's what he wanted. He sought perfection. Never found it. Nobody ever has. Nobody ever will. And Stanley Kubrick and Jack Nicholson at the bar was a highlight. And we when we started to roll, I remember one day we were shooting and rolling and shooting, and all of a sudden the assistant director said, "Stanley, it's 10:30," and we were shooting since 9 o'clock that morning. 10:30. I got to my dressing room, took my shirt off, took my T-shirt off, and wrung it out. True.
All right, and now for our sci-fi fans, one of the films you worked on was Blade Runner. Now,
Blade Runner.
Same question. What was your favorite part about working on that film?
Okay. The favorite part, strangely enough, was not anything that happened on film. It was when Ridley Scott came over to me 3 times during the making of the film with me, and he said, and he's English, He says, "Joe," he says, "how do you think Stanley Kubrick would have handled this scene?" I said, "Ridley, you're doing fine. You're a fine director. Do it. The way you're doing it, it's fine. It'll be perfect. Don't worry about it." "Oh, thank you. All right." But I wanted to know how Stanley, that's how much respect every director that ever lived, the good, the bad, all the mediocre directors, had for Stanley Kubrick. He is the Empire State Building, and everybody else is pup tents. And that's Stanley, and I miss him. And I cried for a month. A week does not go by that I don't cry a tear and say a prayer for Stanley Kubrick. And Ridley Scott, he's on his way. That picture broke through. Do you know something? Nobody saw that picture.
Really?
Blade Runner came out, it was a lemon. Nobody saw it. Slowly, the kids got to see it. And then the word of mouth came out. Slowly. and it's one of the great films now, one of the great sci-fi of all time.
And again, like I asked you before, what was your personal favorite scene from the movie Blade Runner?
The favorite scene, you'll die laughing. I had a scene where I kissed Rutger Hauer, because I created Rutger Hauer. You were made to last, and we had that scene. I was into the scene, and when I kiss women. Well, Ridley got on me. Rutger got on me. They all got on me. And who's picking out the rooms? You getting furniture? And they let me have it. It was a lot of fun. But the actual work was when he pushed my eyes out. When Rutger Hauer came at me and took my eyes out. It was tough to do. We shot it from a million angles, and it was interesting, but that was one of those difficult scenes.
Can you explain why it was difficult, or was
I never had anybody come over and put their hands on my in my eyes and start to press. Although he controlled himself, I said, "Gee, what if he loses himself and he put my eyes out?" Right. But it was quite interesting.
And I guess one last question is, out of all the films you've worked on, what would be your favorite?
Easy. And let me look at the camera. If you want to see the greatest film ever made, see a picture called Paths of Glory. We shot that 57 years ago. In 1957, I was 30. And I was told by one of the head men at Warner Brothers, that picture, Paths of Glory, plays in a movie house every day for the past 15 years somewhere in the world. That's a true story. Somewhere in the world, Paths of Glory plays. I don't get a nickel for saying that, but that was the greatest picture I've ever been in. And Kirk Douglas stars in it, and he was superb. Great cast. It was a magnificent film, and I'll take that one to the grave. That's a wrap, right?
That's a wrap. Thank you.
My pleasure, honey. My pleasure. My pleasure. All right, Bradley, you got enough?
I did. Beautiful stuff you got there, sir.
You gonna knock them out?
I am. We are going to do a little bit of an edit on that. Just a little.
I kissed Rutger Hauer on the mouth.